Imagine this. You wake up. Before your eyes even adjust to the light, your hand reaches for a rectangle. And with one swipe, your mind is no longer your own. News, notifications, feeds. A world built to steal your attention and sell it. We used to look at the world through windows. Now, we look at it through screens. They don't just inform us anymore, they define us. And yet, most of us don't even realize that we are addicted. Today, we're going to explore why, how screens hijack our brains, reshape our emotions, and quietly rewrite what it means to be human. For millions of years, the human brain evolved in scarcity. Scarcity of information, of stimuli, of novelty. Every flicker of movement could mean danger or opportunity. Every face we saw was real. Every word was spoken directly to us. But now, we are surrounded by infinite stimuli. Thousands of faces, endless motion, notifications lighting up like fireworks. Your brain, ancient and delicate, was never designed for this. When you scroll, your mind enters a slot machine loop. Each swipe is a pull of the lever. Maybe this one will be interesting. Maybe this one will make me feel something. That anticipation releases dopamine, the same neurotransmitter that drives gambling, nicotine, and drug addiction. You're not scrolling because you want to. You're scrolling because your brain is chasing a hit of dopamine it never asked for. And behind every tap, algorithmic engineers are calculating how to keep you hooked 1 second longer. In the past, economies were built on resources, oil, gold, land. Now, the most valuable resource is attention. Every app, every platform, every video fights for a fraction of your mind. They call it engagement. But what it really means is possession. When you open your phone, there's a silent battle happening between what you want to focus on and what someone else wants you to focus on. The product isn't the app. The product is you, your time, your habits, your emotional data, all extracted, analyzed, and sold to advertisers who know more about your fears and desires than you do. You've become the raw material in the factory of distraction. And the worst part? We volunteered. We call it social media, but most of us have never felt lonelier. Our ancestors gathered around fires. We gather around screens. We count followers instead of friends. We send hearts instead of warmth. We share stories we didn't live for approval from people we'll never meet. We are constantly connected, but rarely present. Every notification gives us a small hit of validation. I exist. Someone saw me. But the moment it fades, the emptiness returns. Stronger than before. Loneliness used to mean being alone. Now, it means being unseen in a crowd of digital noise. We scroll through perfect lives, filtered faces, and choreographed happiness, forgetting that comparison is the thief of peace. And in chasing digital connection, we've lost emotional depth. Let's look at what's really happening in your brain. Every time you see something new, a shocking post, a funny video, a dramatic comment, your dopamine spikes. But unlike natural rewards, food, love, achievement, these spikes are shallow and short-lived. So you keep seeking more novelty, more stimulation, more screens. This endless chase numbs the brain's reward system, so normal life begins to feel boring. Reading a book feels slow. Conversations feel dull. Silence feels unbearable. Your brain has been trained to crave constant input and panic when it stops. That's why so many people can't go 5 minutes without checking their phone. The absence of noise feels like withdrawal. We're not bored because life is boring. We're bored because our minds have been overstimulated beyond recognition. What happens when you lose control of your attention? You lose the ability to think deeply, to remember, to feel. Every distraction fragments your focus, and a fragmented mind can't create meaning. The average person checks their phone 144 times a day. That's 144 moments where your attention is pulled away from reality, from yourself. Studies show that multitasking reduces IQ temporarily by up to 10 points, the same as losing a full night's sleep. But beyond numbers, there's something deeper. When you're always reacting, you stop reflecting. You stop asking questions like, what am I feeling? Why am I doing this? Is this who I want to become? Distraction becomes the default, and silence the enemy. Our devices promised happiness, connection, and convenience. But the data tells another story. Since the rise of smartphones, rates of anxiety, depression, and self-harm have skyrocketed, especially among young people. Why? Because the brain confuses digital feedback with self-worth. Likes become love. Views become validation. Silence becomes rejection. And the nervous system, overloaded by constant alerts, stays in a low-grade state of fight or flight. We're living in a world where the mind never rests. Even in bed, our screens glow like artificial suns, keeping our brains awake, our hearts anxious, our bodies restless. The screen became our mirror, but instead of showing us who we are, it shows us what we lack. We tell ourselves that we're working, reading articles, checking emails, staying informed, but deep down, we know most of it is noise. True focus is becoming a lost art. We confuse motion with progress, reaction with creation. Every time you switch tasks, it takes your brain around 23 minutes to fully recover its focus. And yet, we switch hundreds of times a day. This isn't just distraction. It's self-inflicted fragmentation. The average attention span has dropped from 12 seconds in 2000 to around 8 seconds today, shorter than that of a goldfish. We are drowning in information, but starving for wisdom. Let's not be naive. This isn't accidental. Tech companies hire neuroscientists, psychologists, and behavioral designers to exploit cognitive vulnerabilities. Infinite scroll wasn't invented by accident. It was engineered to keep you there. Every color, every sound, every animation designed to trigger your brain's reward loop. You think you're choosing what to watch, but in truth, you're being watched. Your behavior is being mapped, predicted, and optimized, not for your growth, but for your engagement. You are no longer the user. You are the used. But here's the good news. You can reclaim your mind. Awareness is the first act of rebellion. Start by noticing the craving, the impulse to check, to refresh, to scroll. Don't judge it, just observe it. That moment of awareness creates space. Space between you and the algorithm. Then, rebuild your attention like a muscle. Turn off non-essential notifications. Create phone-free zones, especially in the first and last hour of the day. Replace consumption with creation. Take digital Sabbaths 1 day a week away from screens. When you walk, leave your phone behind. Let boredom breathe again. Remember, boredom isn't the enemy of creativity. It's the birthplace of it. When you let your mind wander, you give it back the ability to imagine. Look around you. The light, the air, the texture of silence. Presence isn't just some spiritual cliché. It's the antidote to digital decay. When you give full attention to a single moment, you reclaim what screens have stolen. Depth. Depth of thought. Depth of emotion. Depth of experience. Try sitting without reaching for your phone. Feel how the mind starts to panic, then soften. That discomfort is your brain detoxing. You are teaching it again that peace isn't found in pixels, but in presence. Outside your screen, there is still a world. A real one, with sunlight and wind, laughter and silence, chaos and calm. A world that doesn't need to be curated to be meaningful. That doesn't ask for likes, only attention. We talk about virtual reality as if it's a new invention, but the truth is, we've been living in it for years. Every scroll takes us one step further from the tangible. Every notification drags us deeper into abstraction, but the door out is still open. It always was. You just have to look up. The battle of our time isn't between nations or ideologies. It's between focus and fragmentation, between awareness and automation, between the human mind and the machine that feeds on it. The Stoics taught, you become what you pay attention to. So ask yourself, what are you becoming? Every moment you give away your attention, you give away a piece of your life. Screens are not evil. They are tools, mirrors, reflecting both our brilliance and our weakness. But if we forget how to look beyond them, we risk becoming reflections of reflections, ghosts trapped in glowing glass. The future of humanity depends on something ancient, our ability to look up, to see clearly, and to be fully here. Because only a present mind can create a meaningful life